Hi, I'm Erin Harrison coming to you from the Los Angeles Convention Center at IT Expo West 2010, our 22nd IT Expo. I'm joined this afternoon by Aelea Christofferson, President of ATL RespOrg Services. Welcome, Aelea.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. So for the folks that don't know who you are and what you do, give us a little bit of a background.
ATL has been in business for 19 years. We are what's called a RespOrg service, which is entirely related to toll-free, and it's the companies that are authorized to go into the national database and move around the traffic for toll-free services.
Okay. What differentiates you from the other people that are here at IT Expo?
Oh, we're very different than the other people at IT Expo. We are low tech. Everybody here touts what the newest high tech is, but the bottom line is that toll-free is still routed exactly the way it was when it was designed in the 1980s. And it's very difficult for people here to take off their 4G SIP trunk hats and remember that if you're talking about toll-free and protection of toll-free, you only have one option, and that is what your RespOrg does to hand off the traffic to your landline carrier, because all toll-free is originated on a landline provider.
Okay, and I guess to put it into context for our viewers, give us an example where your services were able to help in a disaster situation.
When Hurricane Katrina happened, we worked with the state of Louisiana, and the state was not in the disaster area, the state's further north. One of the things about toll-free that companies forget is their client is the end where the call goes. They have no control over where the call is coming from. And so there's no amount of backup that they can put in their office to protect their calls. So if you're a government agency or you're an insurance company, or in the case of Hurricane Katrina, where they were a state agency, they needed to be able to get toll-free calls out of where the hurricane happened, not where their offices were. What ATL did in that case is the carrier that was in the hurricane area that the state used had been wiped out by the hurricane, but there were other carriers that were not. So within minutes, and I mean literally minutes, we had their service up and working so people could call from the hurricane area into the state. And then over the process of the next few months, we were able to balance calls as other states helped them deal with their clients, so that they could send a percentage of their calls to Washington and a percentage of their calls to Texas. And they could change the percentages depending on who was getting overloaded.
Interesting.
So we were involved with the state for many months afterwards, ensuring that the customers who were turning in claims to the state could be provided service.
Well, it's definitely a great testament to ATL and the benefits. Switching gears a little bit, what would you say is the fastest growing segment of your business?
The fastest growing segment really is SIP providers and IP providers. And the reason is because a lot of the providers thought they weren't going to have to get into toll-free. They designed all of their services from the originating end of the call, where was their client's company. Then they discovered that because enterprise customers are used to buying their toll-free with their long distance, they were more or less forced into the toll-free market, and they didn't know how it worked. They kept trying to put the toll-free on their IP services and got a little stumped because the calls aren't coming from their clients. And so as they realized they needed some help to figure how this worked, our customer base changed very quickly from primarily landline and enterprise customers to a much larger number of IP and SIP providers.
Okay, great. And ATL is an exhibitor
Yes.
at IT Expo. What message are you hoping is heard tomorrow when the exhibit floor opens?
We're the grenade. Any place you see the grenade, that's ATL. It's a brand new approach to marketing. It was a very marketing for us. And the key that we're trying to get across is if you're an enterprise customer or you've ever tried to sell to an enterprise customer, the first thing your customer feels like is they're hanging on to the grenade. They suddenly have a whole new system that they don't understand. And the thing you need to be able to provide to them is assurance that if something goes wrong, you've got a way to fix it. And your salespeople will immediately tell them how much extra trunking and how many extra switches they have. And it won't do anything for them if what they're talking about is what happens if my toll-free calls go down. So you want to have, our advertisement says, we are the cotter pin that holds your toll-free together. And we will teach you what a RespOrg is and why that's the key to all of your toll-free disaster recovery.
Okay, great. Well, we hope you have a great show, and we're happy to have you here again. I've been speaking with Aelea Christofferson, President of ATL RespOrg Services. This is Erin Harrison at IT Expo West 2010.